real quick about what we saw. Let me start because I'm proud.
As you
should. Cannonball and Xavier, Professor X, got me to infinite. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm slowly escalating things. I'm going into the 80s and I'm like, oh, wow, I haven't been to 80 in forever. I've always talked about that 70s show. I'm in the 80s now. All right, take it easy. Let's see how we do. Oh, we're at 85, 86. Wow, something is going on here. I'm actually doing really well. 87. Holy crap. 8 cubes gets me to 90. I'm like doing crazy stuff, getting cubes. And like I said, it was honestly a situation where since I knew I was going to win, I would snap after they had snapped. I had 8 cubes on the line and of course won it. Had a massive chance of winning it and pulled it off. Ended up with, and finally at like 99, I'm at like 98, 99. I'm like, the wall's coming. I've got to hit a wall soon. I'm expecting something. And it's like really late at night. I can't remember when I sent you the message, but I'm pretty sure I may not even sent you the message. I may have went to the Twitter and put it on there because I was afraid it was wake you up.
You're good.
But I was waiting for that wall to hit. And I was just waiting. They didn't seem to have an answer. They had no answer for the combo at all. They didn't have an answer for Cannonball. And I ended up winning. So I hit infinite. I'm at 100. And then I get pushed over into the ranking system.
Mm.
Okay. You ever been there? You been there before?
No, I don't think they had the ranking system the one time I hit infinite.
Okay. All right. So now I'm sitting at I get shoved over into the ranking system and it's like, you're at 67,000. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. So I'm going to make my way up. Oh my gosh. Did things change there? I don't know what switch got flipped, but as soon as I hit infinite and went over to ranking, I couldn't do anything with that deck. I was losing and losing and losing and losing. And it's kind of crazy because as you're playing the ranks, you are running into the same people. I started playing the same people. Like I would play a guy, 2 matches would go by, and then I'd play that guy again. I recognized the name, and all of a sudden I recognized, and the decks, I don't understand how these decks were killing me. Like I was facing this guy that I had not seen anybody play Maximus in forever. And all of a sudden I'm facing these decks over and over that have Maximus in it. I was like, who are these people? And I couldn't win. Like I was like, okay, I've got to switch things up. I've got to do something here. And I finally, after even with a switch, I could not make headway. And I think I finished it out like 90,000, I think is where I was at. I had dropped, of course, the ranking doesn't stop if you stop playing because people are moving and shaking, and they all moved to they moved me down to 90,000 by the end of the season. So bittersweet. I got to infinite. But man, oh man, after I hit infinite and got into the rankings, I was pretty well defeated. I just couldn't believe that the deck that got me there, that Cannonball and Professor X was just a non-factor as soon as I hit infinite. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, that was my experience. I was excited as far as trends go for the season. It was varied. I didn't see a lot of high evolutionary. I did not see a lot of destroy. Was not a big factor in what I was facing. Every once in a while I'd run into a Thanos deck, but man, I'm telling you, as far as variation goes in the meta, last month it didn't seem like one thing was dominating the meta. So, all right, let me step back. What were your thoughts on last season and what did you see trend wise, whatever?
Well, like I said earlier, for a while there, I was seeing a lot more Patriot and using Patriot more than I used to. But eventually, I just would. For a while there, I was moving up pretty fast. I want to say that I hit 90 with like 2 weeks left.
Oh wow!
Or close to it, well over a week. And I thought, hey, I might have a shot at getting infinite again. Well, not only you said that your journey in the rankings often reflects that 70s show. Mine, after I hit 90, turned into a Tom Petty song, Free Fallin'. Not only did I not stay in 90, I didn't stay in 80 very long.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
I mean, I kept plugging away with the decks I wanted to try, and I was having fun, but I was at about 75 by the time the season ended.
The algorithm found you. I'm telling you, they know.
But I was mixing it up. One thing I think that causes me to backslide so much, I think I don't retreat enough. Because like you've told me, especially when you're doing some of these decks around a particular combo or a particular location, like you use the Watcher, and if you don't get the location you're looking for, you retreat. And I've got another buddy who's like, when they lay down Invisible Woman, and then they lay down another card, I know MODOK and Hell are coming, and I just leave.
Might as well get on out.
and I sometimes I really think I can do it, and other times I'm just like, oh, let's just see a little bit longer. And I think that might be my problem, is I don't retreat enough.
Yeah.
Strategically, I'm not just retreat, but I think that might be part of my problem. And then also there's sometimes where I don't snap soon enough.
Okay.
I wait too long, so I either win and get 2 cubes, or I hang on and lose 4.
Yeah.
I tried a bunch of stuff. Like I said, when I got Hercules, I started messing around with move decks again. I even tried to bring back the Phoenix Force with the Torch and or Dazzler and or the Vulture. And I had some good games with that, but couldn't get consistent with that. So I always play Living Iron Slot for a while, and that does okay. I did win a couple gold conquests, an Iron Slot, maybe one of the move decks. So I got the Phoenix Force Captain America, which looks awesome, but is hampered by the fact that it's still the Marvel Snap version of Captain America. There's so many awesome 3-cost cards, or I could have one that generally looks cool and makes you think of cool comic book stories, and then is a non-factor in the game.
Yep, doesn't much matter.
I mean, that dude's just a Patriot wannabe.
That's sad.
It is sad. But yeah, that's what I was trying a bunch of different stuff. I had a lot of fun coming up with different decks. I have one that we'll talk about in a little bit, because there's a new card that fits into it called Exterminators, which is just me trying to deprive my opponent of as many cards as I possibly can.
Beautiful. Nice. Very nice.
So I had a lot of fun playing it, but I would look at my rankings and be like, oh, okay. Well, good thing I'm not tying my self-esteem to this.
Oh, man. There was some weird stuff that was happening over there in the ranking section, too. Like, at one point, I'm facing this guy, and I lay out a card. Nothing. He doesn't lay out anything. He ended turn. Lay out another card. He ended turn. Lay out another card. He ended turn. He legitimately goes through all 6 turns, ending the turn, not playing a single card. I don't know.
I was waiting for the punchline on that.
No, that's it. He let me win the game. And he wasn't sitting there not like he wasn't away from the keyboard. This dude was hitting end turn every single time, and nothing. He laid out not a single card, and I won.
Okay, here's what I think happened.
Okay. He
had like the most perfect deck, and maybe turn 1 he got Triskelion, and Agatha was like, "There's no way I can lose this game. I'm just not playing anything." I swear there was one time that I got like Agatha Triskelion to me twice in a week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's rough.
But yeah, so that's what it was. Is he had the perfect deck, and he's like, I'm going to see if Agatha can mess this up. Maybe that was it. Maybe it wasn't the Triskelion. Maybe he had like the greatest 11 card combination ever. And he's like, let's see what happens when I give this to Agatha. And Agatha's just like, nope. This is not how I play.
Oh, man. I saw another guy who changed his name to like just playing for boosters or something like that, or let's play for boosters. And I was like, okay, well, anyway. So, all right. Well, let's move on to our unlocks for the season. And okay. I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way.
I already meandered through half of mine, I think.
my list is extremely short. And granted, I didn't go up much. I was just taking a look. I think I only went up like 300 compared to where I was at as far as collector level goes from last time. So I must not have played a whole lot.
You were just basking in the glow of infinite. You're like, man, I don't have anything to prove now.
I must have been. That's the only thing I can think of. But anyway, currently, as of today, 10,486 as far as the collector level goes, and 4 spotlight keys. Yes, I'm hoarding those things. First unlock that I hit was a pixel absorbing man.
That's a weird looking pixel. I'm Mr. Pixel over here, and I set that as my favorite, and then I'm like, I don't know, man. It looks like he literally absorbed an Atari cartridge. And
yes, he does. He really does. Then next is an Ario Anandito Titania, which is I think you might have described this to me at one point. I don't know. She's got like a skull.
She's got the do-rag.
Yeah, she's got the do-rag and she's running at the viewer pretty much.
Yeah, it's like, what if Titania wasn't just about her chest?
She's take it off, running. All right. Next up is Ms. Marvel. So I think I got her. I must have tried and used one of my spotlight keys trying to get something. That's the only thing I can think of, and then I stopped. I was like, okay.
Was she the week of Cannonball?
Maybe, but
I think she might have been.
She isn't grouped together by Cannonball for some reason in my thing. But then again, maybe I updated her. Well, no, I haven't used her, so I know I don't have any boosters. I've always thought she was a cool card, but I just haven't given the brain power to create a deck around her yet. Mateus Manhani Thor, which was part of the giveaway that they did for the 7 days. So I assume everybody got that.
Yeah.
Ended up with a Pixel She-Hulk.
Nice.
A Max Grecki Vision. Which
probably my favorite Grecki variant.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. Very cartoonish looking. I got a Pixel Mysterio.
Nice.
And it ended up with a Cannonball, of course. Talked about Cannonball.
Oh, you got Cannonball?
I did get Cannonball. And then Scotty Young Rocket Raccoon, which is we talked about his variants on Rocket Raccoon before. This is the one that I didn't think I'd ever seen, where he's like flying backwards and he's shooting the guns at the person that's at the viewer, which is pretty cool. Then I think I ended up with an ink pulp Mr. Fantastic. It might have been something that I bought. I can't remember, but it's actually, I wanted to get a new Mr. Fantastic. And this thing looks pretty cool. It's still him stretching all over the place, but I wanted a good variant of that, and I liked it. And then I got a Dracula that I looked up the credits for this. It's David Finch, Danny Meeke, that's an inker an artist I recognize from the Image days, Michael Gaydos, and Frank Darmata Dracula. So it's a really cool looking Dracula. The card's mostly black, and it looks nothing like the stock Dracula that we get. This is one that reminds me of the one from Tomb of Dracula a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my final one that I just got it yesterday, I think, was Fei Cheng, Mr. Negative, which Mr. Negative's sitting in a chair and he's looking like Mr. Negative. So that's about it. There's not much, nothing spectacular with that. Dan Hip Galactus.
Oh, nice.
Okay. That was one. I think I got a fantasy variant Dakin.
That was in the spotlight cache at some point.
Must have been with Cannonball.
Okay.
Because I ended up getting that with Cannonball. Then I think there's two other cards that I got after the Mr. Negative. We already talked about the Phoenix 5 variant of the Cyclops, but I also got a Hellfire Gala variant of Kitty Pryde. So there you go. How about you?
Let's see. Well, I started off getting Hope Summers, and then immediately blew my 2 spotlight keys on Chibi Mobius, and the David Nakayama Spider-Ham.
Are you okay with that Chibi Mobius?
I haven't even spent the 25 boosters to make it break the frame. I don't know. I mean,
don't need it getting any bigger.
There's nothing overtly objectionable about it. It doesn't bother me like some of the other chibis do. I don't know. It was very disappointing.
Okay. All right.
Did not make me say, wow. Then I got Crossbones Hydra variant, which looks pretty much like Crossbones, but I think he's got like a tactical vest on.
Okay.
Pixel Squirrel Girl.
Nice.
Yes. Then with the season pass, I got the Pandart Magneto, which looks cool, but is not in any way making me consider replacing my Jim Lee Magneto with it.
Oh, yeah.
I got Your Buddy Maximus by Stepan Sajic.
Okay.
I do use Maximus, especially with Ronan.
Ronan, yeah.
Yeah, but I got a Mad Boogie Wolfsbane, which
I think I got that. Yeah.
Doesn't quite do it for me. Call me crazy when Rain Sinclair's cute and all, but when I have Wolfsbane, I'd like to see her wolfing.
Correct.
Call me old-fashioned. But let's see. Then my first try for Mockingbird, I missed her, but I got Ghost Spider. That's the other thing that fueled my resurgence of move decks.
Right. I didn't know this was the first time you'd got Ghost Spider. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then I got a Dan Hip Nightcrawler. I'd been wanting a new Nightcrawler for a while, and I think he's in one of the albums. So that's one reason I got a few, is because I pretty much just use my gold to try to fill in albums or get cool variants.
Oh, okay.
Because eventually I have cycled through that and gotten the 2,000 tokens in the mystery variant. So I haven't worked out the math of it. It probably makes more sense to save my gold for Token Tuesday, but this way I also get cool variants. And there's a couple of those albums where the halfway point prize is a spotlight key.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. That's nice.
As soon as I got in striking distance of that and had the gold, I haven't seen any variants from that album. But I did get one the other day that gave me 1,000 tokens, put me over 6,000. Now I'm just trying to decide what to get with that.
Right.
So let's see. Then I got, as a prize somewhere along the way, the Strong Guy King of Hell variant.
Okay, so I need you to explain what happened, because we've talked about how some of these variants, just what in the world is going on? Like, I had to have you explain.
Oh, I'm in the comics where that happened.
Okay, I had to have you explain Beast and his occult, whatever he's doing, witchcraft thing. So now I need you to explain what happened when Strong Guy took over Hell. How does this happen?
Okay, well, let's do a spoiler alert, because even though this wasn't my favorite development, it was part of Peter David's run on X Factor when they were X Factor Investigations, and even the parts I didn't care for was an awesome series.
Okay.
So spoiler alert for Peter David's X Factor, the detective era, which I highly recommend people read. So Strong Guy died.
Okay.
And Layla Miller. Do you know Layla Miller?
I know the name. I cannot remember.
Her power was allegedly that she knows stuff.
Oh, like I've read some of the early issues of X Factor where they were trying to find out. Okay, yes, I know what you're talking about.
Well, so also, time travel alert, she went into the future, and she and Madrox got branded with those M's that Bishop has on his face. And eventually she came back, so she was a 20-something. And then she and Jamie got romantically involved, which she lived those years.
Right.
But it was still like 5 issues earlier, she was a 13-year-old. So that was kind of weird. But I like Jamie and I like Layla. Anyway, knowing stuff was not her mutant power. Knowing stuff was a result of time travel shenanigans. She downloaded her knowledge of the future basically into her younger self. So that's why she knew all this stuff that was going to happen. Her mutant power was to bring dead things back to life.
Okay.
Which is fine if you're bringing back a bird or something like that. The problem is she reanimated the living thing. She didn't bring back its soul.
Oh.
So Guido died, and she brought him back, but he had no soul. And then there was all kinds of magic stuff, and I won't drag this out further, but basically there was a contest to see which of the various Marvel devils and demons would become the king of hell. And soulless Guido took an opportunity, did something very bad to somebody with a pitchfork, and he got to be the king of hell.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And if anybody else but Peter David had written it, I would have been like, nope, I'm done. I wasn't thrilled, but I trust Peter David. But as near as I could tell, nobody outside of Peter David ever touched that again. And eventually Guido just showed back up, and someone was like, weren't you the king of hell? And he's like, yeah, it was a whole thing. So Guido's back being Guido, and I don't really want that. I don't really want that storyline revisited. But it was well done to get there.
I remember seeing this card get played against me, I think, at one point, and I was like, what in the world why Strong Guy of all people?
Yeah, it made sense in the story, but hey, one of the best comedic comic relief characters in X-Men history, and now he rules hell.
Yeah, a little bit of a swerve there.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with that one, just like Chibi Mobius. But, then I got the Nicola, sorry I can't pronounce your name right, Rhino. I told my story about getting Mockingbird. I got Pandart Iron Man on the season pass. And then, once again, proving that even though Snap torments me from time to time, some algorithm in there does know me. I got Pixel Death, followed by Dan Hip, Jane Foster.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I got the Dan Hip Bast to build up that album. Randomly got Midnight Suns Galactus.
Nice.
I've gotten some of those album ones as prizes.
Okay.
The Mateus Manhanini, I shouldn't do that because my name has been mispronounced a bunch, so I mean no disrespect to these excellent artists and their creatively spelled names. Mateus Manhanini, Thor, got Ms. Marvel. I want to say that was when I took my shot at Cannonball. Ended up with a summer vacation Mantis who looks more like I'm always conflicted about Mantis because Mantis was one of the early, like, weirder, obscure Marvel characters I remember learning about. Mm-hmm. So I'm always kind of like sort of protective of that version, even though I'm not particularly fond of that version. It's just a nostalgia thing. And this one looks more like the Palm Clementoff version from the movies, which is nothing like the comic version, and yet I thoroughly enjoy. Every time I grumble about stuff like them announcing today that they've cast a woman to play the Silver Surfer,
yep.
I think, which that's fine. And I'm like, why would you do that? And then I remember, oh yeah, Mantis, Drax, nothing like the comic versions. I think maybe it's because like I do find the Silver Surfer interesting and I don't find comic Drax interesting. So I didn't care. So it's a little hypocritical. I also didn't mind Marvel being a woman, but Marvel was in the movie for like 5 minutes. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. My point is that I do like that because it reminds me of the movie Mantis.
Okay.
One of these days, I'm going to do an MCU deck that will probably not be very functional, but we'll just have the cards that have the MCU version specifically of the characters.
Oh,
and nice. Then I'll lose badly and delete it. Got the Hope Summers Pandart variant from the Season Pass. The Quicksilver Sports variant, which I find neither objectionable nor interesting. It's like, oh, Quicksilver's running. I see what you did
goes. There. Yeah.
I got a Jim Lee Rogue as a prize.
Nice. Very nice.
Let's see. Hercules. And then proving that Snap does still like to torment me, a Chibi Heimdall. Paid the gold for the Art Germ Disco Dazzler.
Nice. Yeah, I wondered how long it'd be before you got a hold of that.
Yeah. Got a Dan Hip Null.
Okay.
Because the murderous alien warlord needs the Teen Titans Go sense of whimsy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the null I use now. The Phoenix Force Captain America I talked about. The Phoenix 5 Cyclops spent the gold for the Jim Lee Storm, which is both Jim Lee art and the X-Men animated costume.
You cannot beat that. Nice.
I got a Combo Break Leader. I think that was for when I completed the 10 variant purchases, well, gold purchases. So that was my mystery variant reward with my 2,000 tokens. The one where like he's got the framework holding up his head because it's so heavy.
Oh yes.
I got a Pixel Mr. Sinister and got War Machine at the 11th hour, and then the last one I snagged was a Pixel Arnim Zola.
Okay, very nice. Okay, well there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is our unlocks for the March of 2024. Thanks a lot for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow for the next installment of Snap Material.